റെഡി. ഞാൻ സ്പീഡ് തുടങ്ങുകയാണേ. 2 ദിവസം എനിക്ക് ഭയങ്കര തൊണ്ടവേദനയും ചുമയായതുകൊണ്ടാണ്. ഇപ്പോഴും സൗണ്ടിന് വ്യത്യാസമുണ്ട്, എന്നാലും വായിക്കാം. റെഡി. മിസ്റ്റർ ചെയർമാൻ സർ, I am grateful to the honorable members who have taken part in this debate. So many valuable and important points have been raised by so many honorable members that I do not think it would be possible for me to touch upon those points and reply to all those points individually. But I think I should touch upon certain points which have a general bearing on the points that have been raised by various sections of the House while I reply to this debate. About the financial situation of the government, certain honorable members have expressed great anxiety and concern that in the coming budget there might be a very heavy deficit. It is not possible, nor is it customary to predict what the budget will contain, but I can assure honorable members that our economy is not going downwards. It is definitely going onwards. But I could agree with those honorable members who said that the improvement is not fast enough or that the improvement is not good enough. I would agree to that. I would say that there is need for a greater pace of economic development. There is a great need for quicker growth of our national products and national income. But those people who are anticipating a big deficit budget or a big taxation because they think that the economy is going wrong and the government is going to take some very drastic measures are, I think, not on a very firm ground. We have our own difficulties. If honorable members have carefully heard all sections of opinion in the House, they will themselves know how these difficulties are coming up before the country and how the government is trying to solve them. Diametrically opposite views have been expressed by honorable members not only on financial matters but on how those financial resources of the government should be spent. Some members like the Honorable Sri Banerjee and others pleaded for greater relief to central government employees. Certain other members heavily criticized the central government for caring only for its employees and not for the weaker sections of society. They did not object to the relief that has been given. Some of the members from the Swatantra Party or the Janasangh have said that this kind of expenditure is not good and that it only creates inflationary tendencies in our economy. But if you look at the general financial situation, ഇവിടെ ഒരു വേർഡ് ഡയമെട്രിക്കലി, അവിടെ DMD കെള്ളെഴുതിയിട്ട് കിളി എന്നുള്ള ആ കെള്ളിൻ്റെ ഫൈനലായിട്ടൊരു വവ്വൽ കൊടുത്തിട്ട് ഡിക്ക് ഡ്രൈഫൺ കൊടുക്കണം കേട്ടോ. DMD കെള്ള് എബവ് ദി ലൈൻ, ഡയമെട്രിക്കലി കേട്ടോ. സ്പെല്ലിങ്ങിന് പറയാം DIAMETRICALLY. അടുത്ത സ്പീഡ് വായിക്കണേ. Ladies and gentlemen, I heartily welcome you all to the 20th annual meeting of our company. I appreciate your presence on the occasion as a mark of your deep interest in the activities of the company. Your interest has always been a great source of inspiration to not only me and my colleagues on the board but also to those engaged in the day-to-day conduct of your company. The company, which has completed 20 years of its useful and eventful existence, has every reason, in my humble opinion, to look back on its career with a sense of fulfillment and pride. Over the span of 2 decades, it has borne its share of heartache and headaches involved in the process of growth, but we have managed to find our way, and I hope you will concede that the company's progress has been worthy of your confidence. I seize this opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to assure you that the management continues to be dedicated to the goal of sustained progress in the interest of your company as well as in the wider interest of society in general. The company's operations during the current year have reflected a heartening recovery. The profitability, which had suffered badly during the year ended 31st March 1977 on account of unfavorable trading conditions, has lended to improve appreciably in the current year. Price realizations have looked up from the uneconomic levels which they had dropped, and the turnover for the first 5 months of the current year, namely from April to August 1987, has been higher at about rupees 14 crores as against rupees 12 crores in the corresponding period of 1987-88. With reference to the activity of the Garware Shipping Corporation Limited already mentioned in the director's report, I am happy to state that the delivery of its second vessel with a capacity of 7,900 DWT has been already taken, and we have been fortunate to give the same on charter to the Shipping Corporation of India for the voyage back to our country from Japan. We propose to run this ship mostly in the Gulf trade. The progress in the implementation of the project of Modern Nets Limited for the manufacture of fish nets has been quite satisfactory. The plant, which is coming up fast at the industrial area near Ahmedabad. ഹലോ, റെഡി? ഞാൻ അടുത്ത സ്പീഡ് വായിക്കണേ. റെഡി? 5 മിനിറ്റ് സ്പീഡാണ്. സ്പീഡ് കുറച്ചാണ് വായിക്കുന്നത് കേട്ടോ, എഴുതി പഠിക്കണം. റെഡി? The budget has no national direction in favor of the people, in favor of production, in favor of making our establishments economical and productive, because imports is the key to it. There are a number of complaints from the Indian Standards Institution that because of these imports we cannot have standard equipment in this country, which will save us a lot of waste. The reports are there in the files of government. Let them dig them out and see. 11 types of spindles are going on in the various textile mills in the country. The ISI director writes that this is because of foreign collaboration. Each collaborator forces his own make of spindle. We as beggars do not tell him, this is my standard spindle, please give me that. Where is the supervision? What is the use of talking about waste when this system goes on? It is time that some de-licensing and de-control have to be undertaken. Licensing and control did act as a very good element in the development of our economic some time ago. But now controls and hampering production. For example, when production of sugar was 33 lakhs tons, people wanted decontrol, but government said no. When production went down to 22 lakh tons, decontrol was assured in to enable the sugar mills to make more profits, a share of which we know who gets. Is that the policy? Small people are harassed. At the beginning of our economy in 1987, licensing and control was an essential element. Today, it is no longer that essential element. My proposals are, for example, in textiles, a certain amount of decontrol is a necessity. Certain changes in excise duties on certain kinds of cloth is a necessity if the closed mills are to revive and the working class is to get employment. internally. If you want to mobilize capital, what bigger place there is for that purpose than banks? You know it. If you want central control and planned production, no planning is possible without nationalization of banks. This is not a communist proposition. Mrs. Singha spoke about it yesterday, but you have to sign a requisition in order to consider the question. Sign that requisition and get it thrown out. She referred to the great gentleman who presides over the planning commission. I do not know whether you are aware of the fact. So far as the amendments sought to be made in the present bill are concerned, they are more or less of an innocent character and following the lifting of the emergency. As such, there is not much to be said in favor or against these amendments. But I will take this opportunity of making certain observations about the drawbacks in the administration of the Act itself and the institutions which administer it. By clause 2 of this bill, a new subsection 2A to section 5 has been sought to be added, which says that the Central Boards of Revenue Act 1963 shall apply to this Act. Before 1963, we had only one Central Board of Revenue which used to deal with these four direct taxes as well as excise and customs. After 1963, the Central Board of Revenue was bifurcated into the two, namely the Central Board of Direct Taxes and the Central Board of Excise and Customs. Now, the responsibility of administering these direct taxes falls on the Board of Direct Taxes. As I observed earlier in the House, we should have effected economics in our administration and had also been promised by our finance minister from time to time. But instead we have been lavish in our expenditure in appointing more and more persons at higher posts with a big staff. Sir, formerly where there was only one member who used to administer the direct taxes, now we have 4 members in this board about whom I do not know what they do, but at least my feeling is that these members of the board are merely a dog in the manager. They really do not make any contribution to the administration of the assessing machinery. The board's object should be to make policies and issue directions on general lines, but what we see nowadays is that these four different members do not issue any general directions, but under the pretext of supervising the work of higher subordinates poke their nose into the day-to-day discharge of their duties, thus taking away the initiative, dash and capacity to make a decision on the spot, which seriously affect the quality, efficiency and progress of the work. Sir, I must submit that there is no necessity of keeping so many members on.